Oh, CEOs these days. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. If you happen to like this video and you really want to see more content like this, do me and yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification so you can be notified of upcoming videos. We usually update Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but just in case you need to be reminded, there you go. So anyway, WeWork. Boy, I never thought I'd talk about WeWork again. So WeWork is a company, and I'm just going to be vague about what the company actually does because it's kind of the punchline to the whole video, that basically wanted to revolutionize a certain industry. And they gained prominence and attention because the company was not exactly very good at A, what it did, B, how it spent its investment money, and C, the CEO, who was just completely out of control, completely had no sense of business, and even got like a severe, I wouldn't say, well, maybe severe is the wrong word, but a high severance package, let's say, for basically almost running the company into the ground. The situation was so dire, in fact, that not only was their original CEO fired, even with a big severance package, there is a full-length documentary about the company on Hulu right now, and I have to say, if these filmmakers ever want to tackle Uber, they have my full blessing, and in fact, I highly look forward to it, because this was a very, very good documentary. And after all this came to light, WeWork, hired a new CEO, and they said that they were going to better themselves, and they were going to become a reputable company, but I'm not sure the new CEO is a whole lot better, especially when he has gaffes like the one we're going to talk about. Before we do, though, the stock market, it's going crazy, and there's a lot of investing possibilities. In fact, it is reported that the difference between being in the stock market to not being in the stock market could be $500,000 or more. So if you want to get started, check out Webull. It's a great service. I like them quite a bit. This is not exactly sponsored. This is me just throwing it out there. But right now, with my referral code, which I will link to right below, and there it is right there if you want to, for some reason, type that in manually, you can get up to 10 free stocks if you sign up through my link. So you want to get into investing, feel free to do so with Webull. There you go. But back to WeWork. Webull. Boy, you could easily get mistaken if you're not careful. So WeWork's new CEO was quoted as saying that the least engaged employees in the world prefer to work from home. Now, we're going to talk about exactly what he said first, then we're going to say why this is a problem. So let's look at this article in the New York Post. But a desire to work remotely is a sign of poor job engagement, says the head of shared workspace company WeWork. He said, Sandeep Mathrani, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, said, no one is saying they don't want to go to work. They're saying, I want to go to work 2 or 3 days a week, and I'd like to work from home a day a week. It's also pretty obvious that those who are overtly engaged with the company want to go to the office 2/3 of the time at least. Those who are least engaged are very comfortable working from home. Now, some of you might agree with that assessment. In fact, I think Google agrees with that assessment. That's one of the reasons they originally wanted everyone to go back in the office, and they've since backtracked a little bit. This is also why Goldman Sachs, another big company, wants everybody back in the office. They kind of feel like if you're working from home, you're not as engaged with your work, even though we've actually been very successful at working remotely for over a year. It's funny that these companies like to pretend the last year and a half didn't happen, as if the last year and a half was just the least productive time in history, even though people were actually more engaged with work because there wasn't anything to do and their surroundings were more comfortable. I myself have always been more comfortable working from home, and it's not because I'm not engaged with my job. It's because I'm not engaged with people. I'm a little bit of an introvert, and so when you can get me at home in a comfortable surrounding, away from the bureaucracy of management and other employees who just want to do small talk instead of their actual job, I am way more effective at my work. But Google's CEO didn't say this. Goldman Sachs CEO didn't say this. WeWork's CEO said this. And there is a huge, huge problem with the CEO of WeWork saying this. The The problem with the CEO of WeWork saying this is that WeWork is an American commercial real estate company that provides flexible shared workspaces for technology startups and services for other enterprises. WeWork designs and builds physical and virtual shared spaces and office services for entrepreneurs and companies. What does that mean exactly? It means WeWork specializes in remote work. Yep, WeWork, the company that actually encourages remote working, that wanted to reinvent the workforce so that people didn't have to go to the office every day, that people could be more flexible about where they worked, maybe even work from home. That was their selling point. Their CEO is saying that basically if you want to work from home, you are the least engaged employees out there. And yet the whole point of WeWork is to encourage companies to hire WeWork so that people can work outside of the office, maybe even potentially. Well, look, I'm not even making it up. It is on their website. Here is the WeWork website. Reimagine your workspace. That's their whole thing. In here, you can rent office space, desk space, open workspace, event space, or, and this is the great one, you can, here's helping you navigate your new normal. Remote work. This is what WeWork does. They encourage remote work. They encourage people to not rent expensive leases, but to rent little offices or coffee shops, or even do the work at home in people's own apartments. And the CEO is saying that the very people who are going to use the product you are selling are going to be the least productive people at work. This is such a massive screw up. This is such a massive screw up. And WeWork is so glad that their IPO had to be canceled because of the debacle with their previous CEO, because this is the kind of thing that gets investors to just sell the stock, get out of the company. You don't know what you're doing. You are saying that you are selling the product that you are going to reinvent the workplace. Like, hey, we want to sell you the product of shared offices, of rented offices, of working remotely, of digital employment. And yet you're now saying, you're even strongly suggesting that the people who are going to use those products that you are selling are not going to be nearly as productive as people who are working the old-fashioned way. What a stupid man. Now, of course, a comment this stupid is going to be gang piled on, and the CEO was gang piled on Twitter, on Facebook, even probably people who were doing business with WeWork, and of course he had to respond. And this is where his response is. He clarified his comments on LinkedIn. It was not my intent to cast a negative light on those who are working from home, and I apologize if my comments were not clear. Marani cited a report that WeWork published last month showing that employees are energized about choice, about finding new ways to work, and that CEOs are, quote, committed to providing options that work best for their people. Quote, we will always continue to champion solutions that can actually meet the diverse needs of our workforce, whether that be working from home, utilizing drop-in space, going to a corporate office, or a hybrid of these options. None of which addresses his comment where he did state that if you worked from home, you are likely to be the least engaged with your job. He should have actually said, I completely misspoke, and said he wanted to clarify. He wasn't being clear. No. It seems like you were being clear. Seems like you're being absolutely clear, and you screwed this up. You screwed up the original comment, and you screwed up the response. WeWork's whole business model relies on people who don't want to go to the office. It relies on companies finding alternative ways to work outside of a traditional office setting. And the CEO of WeWork basically said, don't use our product. Don't use our service. You want to know why you don't want to use our product and service? Because if you use it, you're going to have employees who are not as good as the ones you have now and are not engaged, and they are going to result in subpar performances. This was foolhardy. This was absolutely foolhardy. It was also extremely funny, if I'm being honest, because this company has just been, man, you know what? I thought the Hulu documentary pretty much was the open and shut case on WeWork, but if WeWork survives another 5 years under this CEO, and he's going to be making comments like this, we might actually need a sequel to that movie, because, oh boy, it sounds like it's going to have a whole different set of problems than what they had before. But that's where we're going to end this one. What do you guys think about all of this? What do you think of the original comments? What do you think about the response? What do you think about his kind of walking things back, but not really? What do you think of WeWork in general? Are you surprised they're still around? I am. I mean, I have a WeWork pen that I've kind of kept as a souvenir because I kind of thought they wouldn't last much longer, but who knows? We might get to see them a little bit longer. But anyway, I would love to know what you all think about this. Comment below, like, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. Get vaccinated. If you're not going to be vaccinated, wear a mask. And by the way, memo to employees, people who work from home are just as productive as people who go to the office, maybe more so, in my opinion. That's just throwing that out there. Don't forget to have your pets spayed and neutered.